Most people have no idea that some really great Hollywood movies are free to watch right now on YouTube. And I'm not talking about low-budget bad movies. I'm talking about movies like a massive Martin Scorsese historical epic, a legendary Jim Henson fantasy film, one of the funniest Eddie Murphy comedies ever made, and a cult 80s sci-fi classic. And make sure you stick around for the end of the video. I'm going to give you my top recommendation on today's list. Now let's count these movies down from 5 to 1.
They are locked in a battle to the death, a battle that will take them across the heavens.
Starting off at number 5, we have the classic 80s sci-fi adventure, Masters of the Universe. Based on the hugely popular He-Man toy line and cartoon series, the movie stars Dolph Lundgren as He-Man and Frank Langella as the villain Skeletor. The story follows He-Man and his allies as they battle Skeletor for control of the universe. But after a mysterious device called the Cosmic Key sends them to Earth, the battle suddenly moves to modern-day America. Even though the movie struggled at the box office when it first released, it has built a strong cult following over the years. And honestly, Frank Langella's performance as Skeletor is one of the best parts of the film. One little known fact about Masters of the Universe, Frank Langella later said that Skeletor was one of his favorite roles he ever played, even though the movie was based on a toy franchise. I watched this movie in 1987 on opening weekend, really fitting that it's on our list today and we're getting a new He-Man in the near future.
He's the first one to kill a vampire in over 100 years.
And at number 4, we have the action-packed monster adventure and horror film, Van Helsing. The film stars Hugh Jackman as the legendary monster hunter Van Helsing. He travels across Europe battling some of the most famous monsters in horror history. The story follows Van Helsing as he teams up with Anna Valerius to stop Count Dracula, who has discovered a way to bring his undead army to life. Along the way, Van Helsing must battle werewolves, vampires, and even Frankenstein's monster. Directed by Stephen Sommers, the same director behind The Mummy, the film leans heavily into the big action, gothic horror, and classic monster mythology. It feels like a throwback to the old Universal monster movies, but with modern visual effects and huge action sequences. One little known fact about Van Helsing, the production team built one of the largest indoor sets ever constructed in Hollywood to recreate Dracula's massive castle and surrounding village.
Hey girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
And coming in at number 3, we have the comedy film Life, starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. The movie follows 2 men who are wrongfully convicted of murder in the 1930s and sentenced to life in prison. While the premise sounds serious, the film blends drama and comedy as the 2 characters spend decades trying to survive the brutal prison system. What really makes the film memorable is the incredible chemistry between Murphy and Lawrence. Their back-and-forth performances make this one of the most entertaining buddy comedies of the late 90s. One little known fact about Life, both Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence actually play multiple characters throughout the movie, which Eddie Murphy is known for, portraying several different prisoners over the decades. And coming in at number 2, we have the fantasy classic The Dark Crystal. Created by Jim Henson, the legendary creator of The Muppets, this film is famous for being made entirely with puppetry and practical effects. The story takes place in a magical world where a young hero named Jin must restore balance by healing the powerful Dark Crystal. What makes this movie so unique is the incredible craftsmanship behind the creatures, sets, and the world building. Even decades later, the film still looks completely different from anything else in fantasy cinema. A little known fact about The Dark Crystal, there are no human actors anywhere in the movie. Every character you see is performed using puppets.
Who holds sway over the 5 points?
But we don't feel it move.
Us natives or the foreign hordes defiling it?
And we have reached the final movie on today's list. Taking the number 1 spot today is the epic historical drama Gangs of New York. Directed by Martin Scorsese, the film stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, and Daniel Day-Lewis. The story takes place in 19th century New York City during a time when violent gangs controlled entire neighborhoods. Daniel Day-Lewis plays Bill the Butcher Cutting, one of the most intimidating villains in movie history. Between the massive set design, incredible performances, and intense storytelling, the film is widely considered one of Scorsese's most ambitious projects. One little known fact about Gangs of New York is Martin Scorsese spent more than 20 years trying to make this movie before it finally went into production. So out of all of the movies on today's list, which one is my top recommendation? Have you guessed? Well, here it is. For me, the top pick is Jim Henson's The Dark Crystal. Maybe it's the fantasy element. Maybe it's my love of Jim Henson. Maybe it's just the nostalgia factor. I loved the movie when I was a little kid, way back in the early or mid-1980s. The amazing thing about the movie is that even though every character is indeed a puppet, no human characters are ever present in the movie, you actually forget that as the movie gets going. You are totally transported into this world, and it's honestly kind of believable. The movie really does offer an incredible degree of escapism, and that is how I like my fantasy. So there you have it. 5 movies that you can watch completely for free over on YouTube right now today. There is a link in the description for all 5 of the movies, so go ahead and pick the one that you want. And if you know any other great movies on YouTube that are available to watch that I've not had in a list lately, let me know. Drop a comment, and I might just have that one in my next video. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here at Screen Selections, where we are committed to finding the best free movies for you to watch right now over on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.